Matrix has learned something valuable about himself, and the person he is, thanks to his misadventures in the previous tale. And an undetermined amount of time later, it seems the search for mainframe really might be a reality. Our trio has come to a huge system with all they need to return home. Unfortunately, powerful enemies seek them, and will try to make this the end of their journey.
Whoa! Enzo, what is it? What did you find?
Andraia, we're in a system with ports to the net. Alphanumeric! We're going home! We're going home! Hey, watch where you're going, buddy.
My most humble of apologies, oh great and wise guardian, sir. So terribly sorry. My apologies, I'm sorry.
How did he know you're a guardian?
Probably saw my key tool.
The episode with no name was written by Andraia Budd, with story by Gavin Blair, Phil Mitchell, and Ian Pearson. The main cast includes Paul Dobson as Matrix, Sharon Alexander as Andraia, Gary Chalk as Turbo, Judith Maxey as the lead guardian, Jesse Moss as Slimy Goober, the spy, and Janice Jodd as Maxine. We find our protagonists in a huge system modelled after an Arabian market. There's a bazaar, a snake charmer, desert sands below, and a few stormtrooper binomes as a fun nod to Tatooine from Star Wars. Matrix and Andraia's romantic scene is interrupted by the arrival of some sort of miscreant who has stolen Glitch. The binome takes off, and Matrix falls hot on his heels, showing off his incredible athleticism as he jumps from rooftop to rooftop, staying with him but out of sight. A great character moment not just for Enzo, as we see his feats of dexterity, but also for Andraia, as she is so confident in his abilities that she goes off to browse the shops. It's not callousness, she just knows he has it well in hand. I think that's a great show of trust. Matrix eventually tracks him to a bar as the mysterious binome runs in. Andraia, after wandering the bazaar for a while, heads with Frisket to the harbour to see about finding transport out of the system. All the while, some unexpected guests arrive in the system as well.
Guardians! The Guardians are coming!
Okay, people, you know the drill. Let's do the job and get out of this 2-bit system.
These are Guardians, and the colour of their icons seems to confirm that. But nobody seems happy at their arrival. I certainly don't remember anyone running in terror from Bob, for example, unless they were viral. The fear was warranted, it seems, for the trio of Guardians and their half-dozen or so spider drones start tearing up the marketplace, clearly looking for something or someone. Meanwhile, we get a pretty shot of the system's seaside as we zoom in on Andraia and Frisket coming across a female boat pilot, currently mopping up vomit from a recent excursion. This is Maxine, a search engine. Get it? Andraia asks her about booking passage, and she asks Andraia for authorization papers. When it's made clear that she can't leave without them, whatever those are, she asks who has restricted travel through the net. And Maxine replies simply, the Guardians did. In the next scene we see inside the bar a spy has entered. And this section is very clearly both a nod to saloons from westerns, as well as the famous cantina scene from Star Wars. Which, if you think about it, was also a nod to westerns. Creatures of all shapes and sizes are playing various games, drinking themselves into oblivion, and the like. All the while, lawyer-friendly cantina music plays. Then Matrix walks in. Dead silence.
You have something of mine. I want it back. Now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Glitch, homing signal. You were saying?
The spy retaliates by calling over a few buddies who pull out weapons. Matrix lifts his hands in mock surrender, and then activates his gun, who plants targets on them and every single person in the saloon. We can do this the easy way, or my way, threatens Matrix. And after a few very tense moments of silence, the spy tosses Matrix glitch. Key tool in hand, Matrix tells everyone in the bar to leave if they'd like to keep on living. Everyone decides living is still the thing they like to do, and bolts. Well, everyone but one person. Matrix hears him approach.
You got a deletion wish?
I'm looking for Guardian 452.
Imagine that. So am I.
What have you done with Bob?
Who are you?
I'm Turbo, Prime Guardian.
It's Turbo. He's back. We haven't seen him since Trust No One. What's he doing here? Well, before we learn that, we're back with Andraia and the search engine in the next scene. Andraia is, of course, flabbergasted that the Guardians would restrict neck travel. These are the same Guardians, right? She asks. To mend and defend? Maxine says yes, but says now their format is to divide and render. This is huge. To mend and defend should be well implanted in your mind, as Bob said it during the intro of every episode of the first 2 seasons. Bob was our gateway to what Guardians were, and now to learn that they have been twisted and distorted for some reason is a pretty big bomb to drop. A sign of changes indeed. Andraia also learns that there are some who could sail her out of here, but unfortunately, they're locked up in a prison fortress. Back in the bar, Matrix, seeing Turbo and I guess remembering the name, since he's never seen him, goes to attack him. After all, Turbo tried to blow up Mainframe. Before Matrix can grab his gun, Turbo uses his key tool, Copeland, to put him in a containment field. They get talking, and Turbo of course learns he's Enzo, and that he carries Bob's Guardian protocol. Turbo releases him, and they chat about what happened.
I played a game I couldn't win, and instead of being deleted, Andraia, Frisket, and I stayed with the game. We've been trying to get home ever since.
You haven't been away for as long as you think. By my reckoning, you should only be 1-1.
What?
Don't you know game time has accelerated? You compiled up faster in there relative to our time.
Then there's still hope for all of them, especially Bob.
Remember back in Game Over? Fawn talks about the time discrepancy between game time and real time. This is where that little tidbit of information comes into play. According to real time, Enzo should only be a year, or whatever the equivalent is, older. Not a full-grown adult. Which means he hasn't been lost in the games for nearly as long as he thought. He still lived through all that time, but the rest of the world hasn't moved at the same pace. This is actually great news, in general, because it means both Mainframe and Bob might still be intact. Assuming Bob survived. Speaking of which, Turbo admits he came here to warn Matrix thinking he was Bob. Matrix effectively carries the same signature as Bob, since Bob copied his Guardian protocol to Enzo's PID. What's the warning for? Why, the 3 Guardians, of course, who, as if on cue, start blasting the building. They blow parts of the wall away with grenades and shoot into the bar with their blaster weapons. Take note, none of these Guardians have key tools. The lead Guardian demands Guardian 452, that will be Bob, to surrender to them. Instead, Matrix and Turbo blast at them. The Guardians fall back, but all of the spider bots are destroyed. It's an awesome action sequence, and it's pretty cool seeing both of these veterans fight together. After they make some breathing room, Turbo tells them about the real threat.
You were gonna warn me about something?
This. It's the infection, but I'm strong. I can still fight it.
Megabyte?
No, much worse. A super virus. Damon. She's infected the entire Guardian collective. Except for you?
And Bob. But I'm only a cadet, version 1.
Yeah, but you're clean.
Whoa. Let's just take a moment. A super virus that has infected the entire Guardian collective. Here's ReBoot, once again planting the hooks for the future. It's all about the world building, something this show does to perfection. We also learn that Damon apparently arranged the web creature that invaded Mainframe. That's okay. Why though? It seems like an odd detail, but without any more to go on, it's less of a problem and more of just a hanging question mark. Turbo does apologize for everything he put Mainframe through, and Matrix, showing how big a man he is, forgives him. Meanwhile, our infected Guardians, pushed back by the powerful warriors in the bar, find the spy from earlier and give him a thrashing for failing to take his key tool. The spy presents a peace offering by proposing they capture the girl and dog he was traveling with, and using them as bartering tools. Ha! Good luck, mate. But the Guardians give it a go, and the two male Guardians head to grab Andraia, who, along with Frisket, return to the marketplace, drawn by the sound and sight of gunfire.
Don't you just hate these little delays?
So, yeah, that doesn't work very well for them. We just get a glimpse of Frisket leaping at them. They broadcast a message to Matrix about surrendering to save his girlfriend, and he just laughs. In the next scene, Andraia and Frisket approach the bar, where the female Guardian awaits. It is heavily implied they killed the other two. Frisket scares away the spider bot with her, and then these two mighty women stare each other down. There is some excellent trash talking here, but finally, the time for action arrives. With the immediate threat dealt with, Turbo takes his leave, saying that he has to return and that he'll be a friend on the inside. He heads off using a portal. I should mention that Matrix shifts his icon to game sprite mode so that the Guardians can't track him. Very clever. After Turbo leaves, Andraia enters and Matrix fills her in on who he was chatting with. And, as they talk, what should happen but the greatest cliffhanger of all time.
Did you find us a ship?
That's going to be a problem. The Guardians have restricted all net travel.
It's okay. We'll get a ship.
How?
Something will come up. Glitch. Scan for possible transport. Capacitor?
Once again, showing the masterful way the series can genre shift, ReBoot presents one of the best and purest action-adventure stories imaginable. Both Matrix and Andraia shine in different and awesome ways. The visuals of the setting are immense and inspiring, and we learn tons of lore. To have a threat emerge from the Guardian Collective of all places is such a bold and unique move. Homages to the Western genre work naturally here with the tension of the threat and a new phase of the story. And Capacitor returning? That scene sends a shiver down my spine, even after all these years. Something big is going down. The episode with no name is one of those tales where you're so engrossed, the time just flies by and leaves you wanting more. Those are great signs. And this is a great episode. It gets 3 fedoras from me.